So many podcasters I know are having very similar conversations right now. AI. And many of them are thinking that AI is going to replace podcasters. It's going to rewrite your scripts, clone your voice, generate your episodes while you sleep, and make you completely irrelevant. I have seen the headlines. I've watched the demos. I use AI tools every single day. And here's what I actually believe about all of this, especially after 20 years in this industry, watching podcasting survive RSS drama and the Spotify wars and the death of Google Podcasts and every other thing people said was going to change everything. AI is not a threat to your podcast. AI is a filter. Hey friend, welcome to Christian Podcasting Secrets. I'm your host, Tammy Munson. If you are a Spark Note subscriber, this is going to feel really familiar for you. Because recently in our monthly newsletter, I wrote a hot take on AI and podcasting that apparently hit a nerve. Because the responses that I got told me that a conversation needed more than just a few paragraphs. So today we are giving it the full episode that it deserves. We are going to talk about what's actually true about the AI conversation, what isn't, and most importantly, what it means for the specific show that you are building. And I've got something special for you in this episode as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. So let me be real honest with you about what AI does well, because I think there's a lot of panic coming from people who either haven't used it or are overestimating what is actually going on here. AI produces. That's what it does, and it does it remarkably well, whether you're using ChatGPT or Claude or one of the other AI agents that are out there or custom GPTs that are out there. It does a really good job of producing. You can do outlines and scripts and show notes and strategy frameworks and episode titles and social captions and brainstorming at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday evening when your brain stopped working 2 hours ago. Bless it. And we love it for that. Now, I use AI tools every single day in my own content, with research, in wildfire planning. Hey, we are even working on a customized ChatGPT that'll be coming out later this fall. It has made me faster and in some ways sharper because it can handle the volume work so I can focus on what I call the judgment work. It's a genuinely powerful tool. And if you're not using it, you're leaving time on the table. But here's what I watch happen when podcasters begin to interact with AI. And I've now watched this pattern play out across dozens of clients over the last 2 years. They start using it to produce more episodes, more content, more output. And within a few months, more starts to feel like less. Because the thing that made their show worth listening to, the specific texture of how they think about their topic, the particular way they tell a story, the voice that made their listener feel like she'd finally found her person, that thing begins to blur. Not because AI replaced them, because they let it. And that's not an AI problem. That's a clarity problem. And clarity is exactly what today's episode is all about. Okay, so let's look at what AI cannot do. And I want to say this intentionally because I think that it's the part that many podcasters tend to skip past. AI cannot have a conviction. A conviction is not an opinion. An opinion is something you hold. A conviction is something that holds you. It's the thing you'd say whether or not it was popular, whether or not it got you followers, whether or not anyone ever told you it was the right thing to say. Now, AI can generate an argument for almost any position. It can write a compelling case for opposite sides of the same question. It has no stake in the outcome. Your conviction is your stake. It's the reason your podcast exists. It's the thing your listeners can feel when you're speaking from it, and the thing she can also feel when you're not. Sound familiar? Maybe you've listened to an episode of something you usually love and thought, well, that was a little odd today. That something is usually that the host isn't in their conviction. They're performing it. AI performs conviction very well. It just can't have one. The other thing AI cannot do is carry a calling. A calling is not a niche. A niche is a content category. A calling is a reason. It's the specific assignment God put on your life, shaped by your history, your hardship, your life experience, your particular experience of grace, your specific understanding of what the woman on the other end of the microphone actually needs. Working with podcasters for all these years has taught me one thing very, very clearly. Podcasts that last are not the most quote-unquote produced shows. They are the most called. The host who keeps going through the hard season, who records on the weeks that she doesn't feel like it, who shows up for her listener even when the metrics aren't moving in the direction that she wants them to. She's not doing it because she has a great content strategy. She's doing it because she believes she's supposed to. AI does not believe anything. It cannot be supposed to. The belief? Well, that's yours. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Set apart. Before the downloads, before the episode titles, before the social media strategy. The calling is not something you manufactured. It was given to you. And the thing that was given is not something that can be replicated or generated or optimized. It can only be carried by you faithfully. Another thing AI cannot do is be your voice, not your actual voice. I mean the voice that came out of the specific life you've lived. The voice that was shaped by the thing that broke you in your 20s, by the faith that you rebuilt in your 30s. The voice that knows something about what your listener is carrying right now, because you've carried it too. Now, AI can clone your vocal patterns. There is an AI called 11 Labs that can literally clone your actual speaking voice. It mimics your cadence. AI can generate text that sounds exactly like you if you feed it enough examples. But what it cannot do is be the specific voice God put in you. Because that voice was built by a life AI did not live. That's not a poetic statement. That's the actual distinction. Okay, before we keep going, I told you I had something very special for you. Everything we've been talking about today, conviction, calling, your voice, it all sounds good in theory, right? But I also know from sitting across from podcasters and having conversations with them that the hardest part is getting clear on what your podcast actually is, what your calling actually is. Not in the abstract. For your podcast, your specific listener, your specific season of life. And that's exactly what a free strategy call with me is for. It's 30 minutes, just you and me. We look at your podcast. We talk through where you are, what's working, what isn't, and what's the clearest next move for you. There's no pitch, I promise. There's no pressure. just a real conversation with someone who has seen a lot of podcasts over these last 20 years and can tell you what I actually see in yours. So if you're in a season where your podcast feels unclear or unfocused, or you just feel stuck, then I want you to sign up for a free call. Head on over to wildfirecreativecompany.com/free strategy call and grab an available time. I'll drop the link for you in the show notes. Okay, let's get back to it. So at the beginning of the show, I said that AI is a filter. What do I mean by that? The podcasters who are concerned about AI right now, and I say this with genuine love, all the love, are the ones who are already making content instead of a podcast. Content is produced. Podcast is built. Content is optimized for algorithms. A podcast is made for a specific person with a specific pain point. Content can be generated. A podcast cannot be. Not really. If you've been making content, if you've been chasing what's trending or optimizing your titles for search and producing episodes on topics you think you should cover, rather than the topics you actually have something to say about, AI is going to make that very obvious very quickly. Because AI can do all of those things faster and cheaper than you can. But if you've actually been building a show, you've actually been showing up with your actual conviction, serving your specific listener, speaking from your real calling, AI is not your competition. It's your assistant. Here's what I know. Many successful podcasters use AI in a multitude of ways. Research, outlining, show notes, first drafts of social captions, episode title brainstorming sessions, the scaffolding work. This work used to eat up 3 hours of a production week. And now it could just take maybe an hour. But what they do is they close the laptop and they record in their own voice with their own conviction for the specific woman that they've been thinking about since the episode idea first showed up for them. That's the combination. AI is for production. You are for the podcast. The filter just makes the distinction more cleaner. So which side are you on? If anything I've talked about today landed on you like a diagnosis, I want you to hear what comes with that. This is not condemnation. This is an invitation. Get back to your actual message. Not the message you think your audience wants to hear. Not the message that's working for someone else that is in your space. Not the message an AI tool suggested when you asked it for what you should talk about next. Your actual message. The one you'd say even if no one was listening. The one that's been in you since before you ever bought your microphone. That message is AI proof. Not because AI isn't powerful, it is, but because the message was made by a life, a calling, and a voice that AI does not have access to. Stay faithful to it. That's the whole strategy. Now, your assignment this week is very, very simple. It's just one question, and I want you to write it down. What is the message I would still be making this podcast about if I knew for certain no AI would ever amplify it? And the only people who would ever hear it are the ones who genuinely need it. That answer is your podcast. Everything else is just scaffolding. Your voice is not a feature. It's the whole point. AI can produce, but only you can show up with a calling. So keep going. And hey, if today's episode got you thinking about what your specific message actually is, make sure to grab that free 30-minute strategy call. The link is in the show notes, and I would love to talk through it with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, my friend, you can love Jesus and analytics, and life is way too short for boring podcasts. I'll talk with you next time. Bye, y'all.